Wasn't Jason Aldean the fellow who, and I'm confused by this, he ran off the stage the other night because he had heat stroke?
Yeah,
Oh,
heat
yeah.
stroke. Yes.
Yeah.
Why would he have run off the stage, I wonder?
Maybe he sensed it and didn't want to do that.
Well, anyway, he got off
collapse.
the stage. I don't know much about Jason Aldean. In fact, I'm unaware of his music, although I'm not unaware of his genre. I like Morgan Wallen, for example.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I do.
Why?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Because I think he has the greatest melodies with the worst lyrics of anyone I've ever heard.
Well, that's a good
that a
reason
comp-
to like him.
I think that's a compliment.
Okay.
What's the summer song he has? Sipping on a sixer.
He does have another song that I dig, too.
That sounds like a Kid Rock summer song.
It does. Yeah, it does. And it rocks like one, too.
Again, is that a compliment?
I guess. Jason Aldean is now in a bit of a dust-up because he has a song called Try That in a Small Town. And suddenly he's the object of much criticism because the song came out in May.
Okay.
But overnight, someone complained to Country Music Television, which was running the video for that song. And Country Music Television did what anyone does in this country when somebody complains. They pulled the video.
Right.
It's a song about, it's a fairly benign song, if you ask me, about, hey, don't try to carjack in my town. It's life in a small town. He's talking about the tremendous divide in this country. And in a small town, I don't think he's from a small town. I think he's from Macon. But I think it's a tempest in a teapot, except for one thing.
What's that?
The video, the song has nothing to do with race. It only has to do with race if you're a Mysterian, because you're going to insert that.
Right. No, John, I'm pushing back on you because I knew you were going to say that.
That's fine.
The video clip has a number of different clips of footage of, people confronting police and people burning the American flag, to the point where the part of the song where he says "spit in a cop's face," the clip they used was, you guys all remember, the white girl that sat and berated a police officer for a long period of time who didn't say anything. Then she spit in his face and he tackled her to the ground and arrested her. That's the clip they used.
Well, here's a lyric. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face,
That's what I'm
stomp
talking
on the
about.
flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough? Well, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
But if you're a Mysterian, you instantly turn it into him talking to black people.
I immediately, when I read I didn't know about this song either until about 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I didn't
know about it until today.
Yeah, yesterday for me.
I was alerted by a friend of mine, and I read the lyric, and I definitely felt some undertones of the old-fashioned sundown towns, where the blacks, shouldn't be seen after sundown, and those were all small towns, of course.
Does he say that anywhere?
He does. He
in the
does
song?
not. No, he does not. No, there's no overt reference to race at all. In general, that wouldn't be what bugged me about the song. I mean, the song to me is just a pandering, piece of,
And he's written other songs about small towns too, as it turns out. I'm looking at a song called "Small Town Small."
He did not write this. I don't believe he writes anything, does he? I don't think.
I don't know. It
think
says by Jason Aldean.
He did not write this. This was written by a guy who's really well known, part of it anyway, Kelly Lovelace, who's written songs for everybody.
Oh,
in Nashville.
yeah.
Everything
And
in
Neil-
Nashville right now is written by folks. Like, you'll get 5 good songwriters. You'll write a, quote, hit, because everybody wants hits.
Are these
And that's-
hungry songwriters or established songwriters?
No, they're established. These guys are very established.
There are 4 guys wrote this song, John.
And they're all very established, yeah.
Well, here's the observation I'm having. Sheryl Crow, for example, has weighed in, among other people.
Okay.
And she is saying she's an anti-gun activist. There's another lyric about he has his grandfather's gun and don't try to take it away from me or something. I don't have the complete lyrics in front of me.
Got
Maybe
a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're going to round up. Well, that S might fly in the city. Good luck.
Yeah. So Sheryl Crow. The only thing I want to mention is I've never heard Sheryl Crow condemn a misogynistic, sexually horrific, violent, drug-addled rap song.
How about that?
But that wet ass girl part song,
WAP. Yeah.
So all I want to do is know what game are we playing.
The same one we always play.
You're guilty if you're white.
I acknowledge that there's a great divide culturally in the country. Mm-hmm. And much of this song by Aldean is an accurate representation of small town America. For example, I was just telling you about Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin yesterday. I'm not going to get carjacked in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
No.
And if I did, somebody would be up in arms about it.
Right.
Maybe literally. The point is, not a word is ever said with how foul hip-hop music can become. Just how foul it can become. I never hear a peep about it. I never hear legislators want to flex their virtue. I never hear a Sheryl Crow. I never hear the New York Times. They're all weighing in on this, by the way.
Well, look at Tennessee State Rep Justin Jones. As Tennessee lawmakers, we have an obligation to condemn Jason Aldean's heinous song calling for racist violence.
Well, no, it does not call for racist violence.
This is what a shameful vision of gun extremism and vigilantism.
Wasn't Jones also the subject a few months ago on the show?
I don't know. That's a guy standing on a soapbox.
Did you have the issue? What issue did you have with the video? You said you had an issue with the video.
There is a portion of the video where he's filmed playing the guitar in front of, help me, John, in front of what?
The courthouse in, I don't know what city, but the courthouse is famous for a reason. Is that the problem you have with the video? Yeah.
Yes.
What? Fill us in.
Well, he films a portion of the video in front of a courthouse where there was a famous lynching of a kid who was dragged there by a car and then hung.
In 1927.
In 1927. Now,
coincidence or no?
What was Henry Ford driving that car? It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well,
It's almost 100 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe his handlers would have picked a better location. I don't know the answer to that.
Speaking of handlers, if you're a handler of his, remember he's the guy who was on stage in Vegas when the guy shot 60 people and killed them.
Right.
Don't you think that would have entered into this conversation at some point?
I don't think he's calling for gunplay here. I don't think he's calling for a violent revolt.
No,
I think it's a fairly benign song about we're not putting up with any BS in a small town.
Okay.
He's talking tough.
He's talking tough.
I don't think he's talking tough at all. I think the writers, the numerous writers that wrote this song, are just reflecting life in a small town.
I do too.
And it's not angry or violent or we're out to get anybody. It's just leave us alone.
We're missing
leave us alone. You know, you leave us alone. Everything will be awesome.
We're missing the much larger point too. You guys watch. This is going to be the #1 song on iTunes tomorrow.
I was saving that for the very end. Like we said, John heard about this song 3 weeks ago. Joe today, me yesterday, tomorrow, the world.
Right.
You know,
this is the best publicity he's ever received,
without a doubt.
Yesterday, I said to you, as far as the eye can see, because the eye can see, I don't know, can the eye see 2 miles? I saw the shoulder packed with pickup trucks, guys sitting in lawn chairs, drinking a beer, watching the cars go by.
Listening to Jason Aldean.
What the hell is different about that scene than what he's talking about?
Exactly what Kenny just said. Those are the people that just
and those are the people who are going to say, to reflect on the lyric that apparently is getting the gun crowd wound up. Got a gun my granddad gave me. They say one day they're going to round it up. Well, that bleep might go in a city. Good luck. Try that in a small town. Well, do you think any one of those people in the pickup truck on the side of the road in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, are going to give up their gun?
And you guys equate that to like AKs and ARs.
I'm not equating it to anything.
The gun my granddad gave me is an old pump 20 gauge. The one my kid has is a 22 bolt action. These aren't kill people, human being guns. They're
I can keep this really simple. I just want to know what the rules of the game are we're playing now in the United States.
That's where I'm going, because the thing is, and we've seen this, it doesn't matter if it's music, if it doesn't matter. There are two sets of rules in this country.
Right. If this is fair game for criticism, then so are 9 out of 10 hip-hop songs.
But those won't be called out.
But they're never called out. So what are the rules? What is the game we're playing?
Well, I see. Now, those are called out, but they're called out by people in that genre, if you will. So there's a part of that genre that will call out.
Find me a call out on one of those songs.
Well, it'll take me, 2 seconds.
What do you mean in the genre? Their peers are calling them out?
Yes, a hip hop artist or a rapper or an R&B artist will call them out, but nobody from the country field's going to call them out. Whoever.
No, you might have misunderstood me when I say it's called out. Has the New York Times ever criticized a misogynistic, sexually violent rap song? Has CNN? Has anyone ever jumped into the fray?
Will it be discussed on The View?
Yeah.
Go way, way back to the beginning of rap with NWA's F the Police.
Yeah, and so just somebody explain to me what are the ground rules?
It's almost
I want to meet with the umpire and have him tell me what the ground rules are. I get to rip the hell out of Jason Aldean for a fairly benign song, but now politicians wishing to make virtue, they're going to stand up and say this is heinous and full of racial hatred. Where's the same legislator when a black guy sings about hatred and killing cops? Where's the legislator?
And if that legislature does...
Legislator.
Thank you. Does stand up and say something, he gets shouted down for being racist.
So you know what the answer to my question is? There are no rules.
It's almost like someone needs to write a book.
I don't have time. But I don't know Jason Aldean. I don't know of him. I don't know anything about him.
We have talked about him before, Joe. Remember his wife got in trouble? I don't know.
I mentioned this to Joe earlier.
Okay. Why did she get in trouble? What did she say?
What did she say, Chris? Do you remember?
She said, I remember it specifically because it actually reminded me of my wife, because she said the part of being a tomboy growing
Why
up.
doesn't somebody look it up and we'll get it accurate?
Johnny's doing it right now. She grew up as a tomboy, and she said, I'm so thankful that my parents didn't want to transition me into a boy like probably would have happened today.
What's wrong with that?
She liked playing sports, and she liked doing stuff boys like doing.
Okay, I'm asking about the rules now. Do the rules not allow me to say that?
Well, it's viewed through the lens of transphobic.
Bleep them. There's nothing wrong with it.
That's my reaction, but there are a lot of people that... But I believe she doubled and maybe even tripled down on some of those comments.
And then they... See, I think Jason Aldean, and that's fine, he can be as controversial as he wants, but remember, he then took the kids out with comments about, hiding from Biden, took his kids out. After all that happened, just to make sure
his kids out. What do you mean? Took kids
them
out
on the town at a press conference, and they both had T-shirts on that said "Hiding with Biden." And that's fine. That's his game. He played the PR game. And again, that's what I think part of this song is. It's a pandering word I can't say. The song is, and the lyrics certainly is.
Yeah, if he's guilty of anything, he just makes terrible music that's popular.
Well, melodically, it's like every other song you hear on the country music stations. There's no...
Don't listen.
Yeah, it sounds like rock and roll with a twangy voice.
He's got some really good guitar work in this song, by the way.
There's tons of great guitar players in Nashville, trust me.
Yeah.
Can I read a paragraph from Jason regarding this? It's on the CNN Entertainment website, and it's a piece about what Sheryl Crow says about it. And the final paragraph of the piece is, Jason, try that in a small town for me, refers to the feeling of community that I had growing up, where we took care of our neighbors regardless of a difference in background or belief. because they were our neighbors and that was above any differences. My political views have never been something I've hidden from. And I know that a lot of us in this country don't agree on how we get back to that sense of normalcy where we go at least a day without a headline that keeps us up all night. But for the desire to it, that's what the song is about.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, but he's saying he's doing that by performing a confrontational song.
It's only confrontational because the Mysterians have seized upon it to make it controversial.
They did.
I think the lyrics a bit confrontational.
Joe, they did what Jason and the songwriters were hoping for.
Yeah,
they bit on the hook.
And like you guys said, it'll be huge. It probably already is. I've no idea.
Carjack an old lady, cuss out a cop, stomp on the flag. Why is that controversial?
It's not to me.
Why is that controversial? And to call it a modern day pro-lynching song is outrageous.
I don't see that anywhere in the lyrics.
Well, the only place you see it in the lyrics is to discern that from the location of the video.
How about full of good old boys raised up right? If you're looking for a fight, is that confrontation?
Good old boys to me are
Is that
guys,
any more confrontational than a black rap artist saying, let's shoot the cops?
No, but I don't see. I don't get.
Then help me understand what the rule is. What are the rules then?
There are no rules. You don't. Why? Okay, so if I'm going to go after this song, then I have to go after a rap song too. Is that what you're saying?
Why wouldn't you if you're going to go after this song?
Why don't you go after Rolling Stone songs that are misogynistic and call women bad names? Why don't you do that? If you're going after the rap songs.
Why wouldn't you? Would be my question.
Why wouldn't you?
No,
because they're not in the news. Their time is come and gone. Yeah. And 50 years ago, that should have been taking place. Literally 50 years ago.
It wasn't literally. It was into the 80s.
But above all of this, look at what they've done. Look at how they're making us think that it's only about black people and against blacks in small towns. They've already got that mind. They've already trained us to fall into that trap. They're leading the witness.
No, as long as the mystery runs the country, it's okay to rip Jason Aldean. It's not okay to rip Ho Boy or whatever the hell the name is.
50 Cent.
Oh boy.
50 Cent.
50 Cent.
Yeah. It's okay to
but that's what I'm saying.
It's okay to condemn Jason Aldean. It's not okay to condemn an artist who said shoot the cops. That's the rule.